I should have died at 11:47 p.m. I saw it happen with my own eyes. My body on the floor. The broken glass beside me. My fingers twitching, then going still. The grainy footage ended right there. I sat frozen, staring at the black screen. My mind couldn't process what I had just watched. But one thing was clear, I had less than 12 hours before it happened. This wasn't some sick prank. The tape knew everything. It showed exactly what I would do. What I would say. How I would die. And now, I had to stop it. It started that morning. I was cleaning out my grandmother's attic after she passed away. Dust filled the air as I rummaged through old boxes. That's when I found it, a VHS tape, unlabeled, sitting on top of a stack of books. I didn't think much of it. Just another one of Grandma's old recordings. I took it home, dug out an ancient VCR from my closet, and set everything up in my apartment. I hit play. At first, the screen was nothing but static. Then, the image sharpened. And my stomach dropped. It was my apartment. Same couch. Same table. The lamp in the exact same spot. But the worst part? I was in the video. I watched myself sit down, just like I was doing right now. I watched myself reach for the remote. Then I got up, walked to the kitchen, poured a glass of water. A few seconds later, I collapsed. My whole body started shaking, my hands clawing at the floor. The glass shattered beside me. Then, nothing. The screen cut to black. I stared at the tape, heart pounding. The timestamp in the corner of the screen was burned into my brain, 11:47 p.m. Tonight? I tried to shake it off. It had to be some kind of trick. A weird recording glitch, maybe? But as the day went on, things started happening exactly as they had in the video. At noon, I spilled coffee on my shirt, the same way it happened in the footage. At 3 p.m., my phone rang, and I answered without thinking, saying the exact same words I'd heard myself say on the tape. It wasn't just a prediction. It was a script. And I was following it perfectly. By 7 p.m., panic started creeping in. My hands were sweaty. My breathing was uneven. I tried to break the pattern. I went for a walk outside, hoping to change something, anything. The streets were nearly empty. A cold wind blew against my face. I took deep breaths, forcing myself to stay calm. The tape couldn't control me. If I did something different, maybe I could break it. But then, I saw something that made my blood run cold. A small convenience store across the street. The same one from my video. And standing in front of it was a woman in a red coat. I remembered her, she had walked past the window in the tape, exactly at this moment. No. No, no, no. I turned away, heart hammering. I needed to leave. Now. I forced myself to take a different route home, avoiding every single landmark from the video. When I reached my apartment, I felt a small sense of relief. Maybe I had changed things. Maybe I was safe. Then, I saw the glass of water on my table. I hadn't poured it. I hadn't even gone into the kitchen yet. But it was there. Waiting. Just like in the tape. My legs felt weak. My mind screamed at me to run, to smash the glass, to do anything but sit down. But somehow, I knew the truth. I hadn't changed anything. And time was running out. I grabbed my phone and called my best friend, Eric. I need you to come over. Now. He laughed. Dude, what's going on? You sound like you saw a ghost. I can't explain. Just get here. 15 minutes later, Eric was standing in my apartment, arms crossed. All right, man. What's this about? I didn't say anything. Just walked over to the VCR, took out the tape, and handed it to him. He raised an eyebrow. What is this? Watch it. Eric shrugged, put the tape back in, and pressed play. The screen flickered. My apartment appeared. My body on the floor. The shattered glass. The timestamp, 11. Eric's face lost all color. What the hell is this? It's real, I said quietly. Everything on that tape is happening exactly like it shows. I don't know how, but it's not wrong. Eric stared at the screen, then back at me. Okay. We destroy it. Without hesitation, he yanked the tape out and threw it on the floor. He stomped on it, over and over, until the plastic cracked. Then he picked up the pieces and tossed them into my fireplace. The flames swallowed them whole. We watched in silence as the last bits of plastic melted away. For the first time in hours, I let out a breath. It was over. But then, a loud click. We both turned toward the TV. The screen flickered back to life. The video was still playing. Eric cursed and yanked the power cord. The TV stayed on. The screen flickered, static, then an image. A street. A figure running. Me. I didn't wait. I bolted out the door, Eric right behind me. Cold air bit my face as we hit the sidewalk. My breath came fast. The city was eerily quiet. A car screeched around the corner. Headlights blinded me. Tires skidded. I dove, rolling onto the pavement as metal barely missed me. Eric pulled me up. What the hell was that? The TV had shown it. Exactly like this. Time wasn't up yet. We ran. Down the street, across an alley, anywhere but my apartment. My heart pounded like it would burst. Eric kept pace, glancing over his shoulder. Where are we even going? He panted. I didn't know. Just away. A neon sign flickered ahead, a 24-hour diner. We ducked inside, sliding into a booth by the window. The waitress gave us a bored look and plopped down 2 menus. I wasn't hungry. Eric tapped the table. Okay, start talking. I took a breath, hands still shaking. The tape isn't gone. It showed me running. It showed the car. It's still happening. Eric exhaled hard. Then we keep changing things. A bell jingled. The door opened. A man walked in, tall, hooded. Something about him sent a jolt through my gut. Eric must have felt it too. He straightened, hands tightening on the table. The man took a seat at the counter, back to us. I tried to breathe normally. The TV had shown me dead. Not him. Not Eric. But I didn't trust that anymore. Let's go, I muttered. We slid out of the booth and hurried to the exit. The moment we stepped outside, I felt it. A shift. Like we weren't alone. Eric grabbed my arm. Look. Across the street, the TV store had its sets tuned to static, except one. One screen flickered, an image forming. My apartment door. Slightly open. A shadow inside. Someone was there. We sprinted. Backtracking wasn't smart, but I needed to see. Eric kept close, checking every alley and doorway. The city was too quiet. It felt wrong. My building loomed ahead. The window to my apartment was dark. The door downstairs was ajar. Eric grabbed my sleeve. Are you sure? No. But I pushed forward. We crept up the stairs, each step creaking under our weight. My door stood half open. No light inside. I glanced at Eric. He nodded. I nudged the door wider and stepped in. The TV was on. Static hissed. The VHS slot was empty. Then, a whisper. Behind me. I spun. The shadow in the corner moved. Eric cursed, yanking me back as the figure lunged. A flash of metal. A knife. We crashed to the floor. The attacker loomed over us, face obscured. Eric kicked out, knocking them back. I scrambled up, heart hammering. The figure rose too. And then the TV flickered again. The static shifted. An image formed. Not my death. Eric's. Run. I grabbed Eric and bolted for the fire escape. We tumbled through the window, metal grating shaking under our steps. A shout echoed behind us. The attacker followed. Eric hit the ladder first, sliding down fast. I climbed after him, hands slipping on the cold metal. A boot slammed onto my fingers. Pain shot up my arm. The attacker was above me, gripping the railing. The knife gleamed. He swung. I let go. Gravity yanked me down. I crashed onto the pavement, rolling onto my side with a grunt. Eric hauled me up. No time for pain. We ran. A horn blared. Headlights. Another car. We barely dodged it as it roared past. We stumbled into a side street, panting. The attacker hadn't followed. Not yet. But the TV had changed. Eric was next. And it was still 11:47. We need to end this, Eric gasped. I nodded, scanning our surroundings. A bus stop. A row of vending machines. And beyond that, a scrapyard. The perfect place to destroy something for good. We sprinted toward it. The gate was unlocked. We slipped in, weaving between rusted cars and broken machinery. The tape, Eric said. We burn it again. Properly. Except I didn't have it. But the TV still worked. Which meant... it's somewhere here, I realized. A crunch of gravel. We weren't alone. The attacker was here too. A shadow moved between the wreckage. Eric grabbed a metal pipe from the ground. I picked up a rock. Come on, you bastard, Eric muttered. The figure stepped into the light. Hood still up. Knife glinting. What do you want? I demanded. No response. Just a step forward. Then another. Eric didn't wait. He swung. The pipe slammed into the attacker's arm, knocking the knife loose. I kicked it away. The figure lunged again, but we were ready. We tackled them into a stack of tires. They hit the ground hard. The hood slipped back. My stomach turned. It was me. Eric staggered back. No way. The other me, the one from the tape, grinned. But the eyes were wrong. Hollow. Black. You can't stop it, he whispered. The TV store screens flickered to life, every single one showing the same scene. Eric's death. Over and over. My hands tightened into fists. Watch me. I grabbed a gas can from the ground, sloshing fuel over the figure. Eric flicked open a lighter. The other me laughed. It won't change anything. Flames roared. The laughter didn't stop. The flames roared high as the figure writhed within them. It started screaming with its screams piercing the night. Eric and I stepped back, shielding our faces from the heat. The cursed VHS tape had conjured something beyond our understanding, and now, we were finally putting an end to it. As the fire consumed the figure, its shape twisted and contorted, the shadows stretching unnaturally across the alley. The air crackled with energy, the streetlights flickering. Then, with a final, gut-wrenching shriek, the figure collapsed into ash. Silence fell over us like a heavy weight. Is it over? Eric asked, voice hoarse. I scanned the area. The air no longer felt charged. The oppressive presence that had stalked me since I watched the tape was gone. But just to be sure, we dug through the smoldering remains, kicking apart the embers. Nothing remained but dust and melted plastic. Back at my apartment, I unplugged the VCR and smashed it into pieces. Then, Eric and I gathered every tape we could find and threw them into a dumpster, watching them disappear into the trash heap. No more tapes, I muttered. Days passed, and life returned to normal. I half expected another tape to show up, another eerie vision of my demise. But nothing happened. The nightmare was over. A few weeks later, I was having a drink with Eric. The night was quiet, and the air felt heavy as we sat in silence. Out of nowhere, Eric blurted out, "Man, what the hell was that tape all about?" I let out a small sigh, staring at my drink. Crazy, right? I have no idea, and I guess we'll never know. My thoughts drifted back to 3 days ago. I had passed by an old thrift shop when something in the window caught my eye, a pile of VHS tape stacked carelessly. My stomach tightened, but I couldn't help myself. I stepped inside and checked the labels. Every tape had a title. None were blank. Nothing looked like that tape. Still, I hesitated. Just in case, I reached out and knocked the whole stack to the floor. The clerk looked up, surprised. I gave a quick, apologetic smile before walking out into the night. The cold air hit my skin, fresh and sharp. I was free.